Hello, and welcome on another Block Chat. Today, there's much to talk about, as every time. Today, it's Denis Petrovcic and Makram Hani on another Block Chat, sharing with you so much of what's happening in RWA, at Blocksquare, within our team, and what are we up to with the community. So let's go ahead. Denis, how are you?
Um, Makram, I'm doing great. It's been a busy couple of days, right? Busy days with what we've concluded just yesterday, or started. I would say it's a new chapter. I would say in for our community. But with the regular work that we have at hands, tokenizing real estate, developing our tech, leading a team of more than 30 people now. It's actually 31. And I'm glad that we'll be able to, present somebody who just recently joined our team and his role. So, how is it for you? How are you experienced this as the COO? I know you've been a bit down due to some sickness a couple of days now,
All
but
types of sick.
now you're getting better, I think.
Yeah, I am. I am. So yesterday we had a podcast, Dennis and myself, and you will see that within the coming few days. Very interesting podcast, very interesting chaps, and I had 38 degrees of fever in the
It
morning,
was
and then
it was like midnight when we were doing
yeah,
this.
yeah. And
That's
Julia was
yeah.
asking, "Can you do it?" I said, "I definitely can do it. Don't worry." And I went on an overdose of medicine. So actually, Matthew, if you noticed, he said Makram is barely keeping himself awake. And to be honest, I was for a second, I, I lost that consciousness. Um, you know what? It's a blessing to be healthy, regardless of what it is. Um, I said some time ago, and I was talking about this today. I said, peace is a luxury only afforded and deserved by those who value it above everything else, regardless of what is everything else. And I believe um, I read a friend saying, I'm sure he copied it from some very wise man who said, you have 1,000 problems, and then you have a health problem, and then you have one problem. So, for everyone around the world, if you're healthy, you're blessed. Imagine a flu can make you cry. Keep that in mind. So, for all of those who are healthy and all of those who are not, we hope that you become healthy and you enjoy life as it should be. I haven't been able to do this without coughing for an hour for the past 4 or 5 days, and that's a blessing. So, off with me and my sicknesses. Let's talk about our prosperity and our community and the growth. Dennis, another centralized exchange listing. Um, it's something that everyone is looking for. To be honest, guys, I'll give Dennis the floor to talk about that because to me it means nothing. So I'm looking at it. Okay, so what? So it definitely means much. It definitely has much that our community is waiting for, especially that it's a stepping stone to much more that is to come. It's not the finish line, and nothing of what we're doing today is. It's just another stone in the very solid ecosystem that we're doing. We're listing on Bitmart. We're live since yesterday. What is that? What is the meaning behind that for the team? And give us everything about it, please.
Um, Makram, I think like me personally, I'm a real DeFi user, if you will. So I don't use centralized exchanges that much, but I think centralized exchanges are definitely an important part of the Web3 ecosystem. They offer the ability for people to kind of on ramp and off ramp in different markets, and I think that's kind of an important thing if you consider that most people kind of live their lives through fiat. through euros, dollars, etc. Right? So that's their primary wealth is off chain, right? And obviously this is a gateway. I see it as a door for a certain community that trusts the exchange, that has been using that exchange, and it's preferring that exchange above everything else. And so it's basically a community building uh, um, yeah,
Exercise.
exercise. Yes, exactly. So it's an exercise how you get community to get engaged, because when you go and build out a community of core participants, the access to your products is quite important, and accessibility comes through centralized exchanges. Um, Obviously, this doesn't mean that um, anything everything can happen on a centralized exchange. We have Oceanpoint, and those who kind of really go more deeper into what we're doing and building, they see opportunities on chain rather than in the centralized exchanges. But there's a certain part of the community, and with the growth of the product, that's going to be a given, that is going to be composed out of traders. And those traders will be buying and selling BST as a utility token that it is. And I think regardless of its utility, and that's something that you cannot change, and you need to go, in front of this. You need to um, get those supporters in, just like Apple trades on the New York Stock Exchange, and you have
Various
various
brokers.
investors not just buying stock and holding it, but trading it, right? And not really looking into whether Apple shares will yield that year a certain amount of dividends or not. They don't care about this, but they care about the volumes they can do, etc. So I think Bitmart is one of the exchanges that has been around for some time, and I believe that as such has gained some kind of, I would say, reputation. As far as we're aware, the biggest market is actually in India for Bitmart, which came as a surprise to me when Simon kind of suggested Bitmart as maybe the next centralized exchange that could be to the governance board. And when we were contemplating various options, because we're quite picky, I would say, who we go and work with, right? And the same goes with centralized exchanges. We had a ton of offers for listing on various exchanges, and we chose the next one should be Bitmart, because it has a community that maybe it's not so much on jumping on a new coin, but it's more like on a long term. I would say on a long term commitment. It seems as an exchange that can bring certain volumes to BST.
When the discussion was why Bitmart, because I believe community was mentioned and stressed on. Tell us more about why does it matter, and Bitmart's community, why is it significant, and what is the differentiations we've seen other than India, which is a very interesting market for us.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, it's not only a quantity game, the number of people in India and the size of the market, but it's also the whole idea of decentralization, the whole idea of digitization and tokenization is to give the ability to spread, democratize wealth creation and democratize access to an asset like real estate. So when you go usually to countries like India, you have a bigger opportunity to do that and impact people's lives. And this is something we want to do. And we know as well that Indians are homeowners in general. And it differs between a state and another. They're also they hold assets like gold and or commodities like gold, and they're savers, which is great. So, what is the significance of Bitmart's community? Because yes, and we'll talk about this in the session today. Yes, we're targeting tier one exchanges, and yes, we have a roadmap to that. And yes, we have news that we will give you today that you don't know yet about that. But and Bitmart is not a tier one exchange yet. Why is it significant?
Yeah. Um, I mean, one of the things is we do plan to list on other exchanges. That's something that we see as a path forward. But we don't see, just trying to rush things through, right? We have a healthy community, and that's also a part that we need to take care of, right? On one side, decisions that the governance board is contemplating is bringing healthy people in the community in Blocksquare, and on the other side, giving a certain growth. So um, there's a saying that if you fly high, you can fall low, right? And if you do that quickly enough, that's most probably the outcome that's going to happen. So we're building up. We're in a build-up phase, and I think the decision that was made is goes along with that. And I think the community kind of really supports what the representatives of the community kind of brought here with Bitmart and voted on. So I believe this is all in line. On the other side, you mentioned India as a market. I believe it's a huge market that is in development, and it's going to develop, and wealth will be created within India. And as well, on the other side, there's a lot of assets that are very interesting outside of it. And the fact is that most people in the world will never own real estate. Now, kind of trying to combine the dots, I think that's a path where the first million users might come from. It might be users with maybe lower tickets, who would like to find opportunities investing in Dubai, in Europe, in South America, in Costa Rica. I don't know, but I'm saying in markets that are um, currently, either have real estate developed or are in development of real estate assets and they have a market for those assets. So that's as well one of the decisions why we believe that the technology that Blocksquare brings inherently, and BST is basically a catalyst to become attracted to this solution, to tokenization of real estate assets as such, is through learning. And when you see something new, you start digging into it, you want understanding better, and with the approach with BST and other projects in Web3, what usually happens is that a community of people who are like-minded get kind of co-invested financially through the holding of a utility token that into a certain use case. And in this case, this is tokenized real estate, and we hope that that's going to grow our user base substantially, as well as bring people to our community who will hopefully become more active over the next years.
So today, when we talk Bitmart, we increase accessibility and ability, tradability actually, yeah? And we reach a new community, and we see that community has some things in common with our community. So in other words, it will add value without putting our community at such risk from just listing on any exchange. And guys, we discussed this extensively, and we assess this extensively. And the team puts so much effort to evaluate every time we have any activity, what's the impact on the community? What would the community benefit from this activity, and how would it benefit from this activity? And is there any risk on the community? Not only risk on the community, is there a risk that the community will be negatively influenced from a perception of some sort? So today, every discussion, Julia jumps up and says, you know what, this is, the community is a priority, and how would the community feel when something like this happens? And that is about every decision and every choice we take. Now, we have done this choice, and we have done another choice that is in the same direction, which we will leave till the last part of this block chat. At the request of the community, at the request of every member of the community. I have a friend and a partner in one of my businesses who's a Blocksquare fan and believer and a follower and a BST owner, and he has been nagging on we want a listing, and we want another listing and another listing, and they're right at the end of the day. And again, it's something that I don't understand well, but I believe that they're right. They know what they're talking about, and they need it for a reason. They want it for a reason. It will add value to the whole ecosystem. Now, this is one of the things that are happening. You have access to Bitmart. You have access to a new community. The first thing I want to ask you all is, if you're currently a BST holder, if you're currently a member of Blocksquare community, get everyone out there to know, why do you believe in Blocksquare? Go on social media, post that, because then every single member of Bitmart's community will be able to look at that new coin or new token that has been listed there, not as any other token or another token, but as a token that considerably represents fundamental value. Yeah. So go out there and push it that way, and it will add value to you, regardless if you're a seller today or a buyer. It does not matter. It matters to us. We want you all to be buyers. It doesn't matter through the world, as long as you're a seller at the right exit for you, and the right exit for you may be different to others. And that is dictated by having the right buyer. So go ahead and do that, and add value and add energy to everything that's happening. Dennis, this is one of what's happening. This is not the only thing happening. So what else are we doing beginning of 2024, and where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of things happening. We just can first, I mentioned Costa Rica in my, so we have a new marketplace operator. We're going to present them in the near future. And this marketplace operator comes out of based out of Costa Rica. You've met the primary chairman, the chairman who was just recently in Dubai, right?
I couldn't meet him in Dubai. I met him online. It's so unfortunate. Because I was sick.
Because you were sick, but he was in Dubai, so you met online, but he was there. And there's the CEO is also an amazing person. Great team overall. They've been really successful in terms of offering investment products in the past. So they're bringing on a certain community with them to their own marketplace that has been already deployed, by the way. So that's already delivered, and now they're in the kind of final stages before they officially launch the marketplace. I believe with a certain offering, or maybe a couple of tokenized properties. We will see. At the same time, Crypto Snacks is close to launching their first offering. The property has already been tokenized. It's a UK elderly care, I believe, facility, and I'm quite excited about what's going to happen there. Then we have our partners that are operating a marketplace in Panama. Two offerings now going on there. The one that they launched earlier, it's around 84% completed, and the other one, the second one, is, I believe, around 50% or 40, or something like that. At the same time, we have Tokenized with their first offering, which is more of a pilot offering for them. They went through the whole legal hurdles in Spain, and I believe, I hope that they will be successful as well. So there's different things going on. Oh, I forgot to mention Brick Trade, who have now, I believe, are close. We would need to ask Daniel, because he's overseeing all the tokenizations from a risk perspective, obviously, as well as the technical implementation. So there's quite a lot of things happening in this infrastructure that we've built. And BST on the other side is basically also attached to this tokenized license through our partnership program.
Let me translate this before we continue.
Yeah.
Let me translate this to a different dimension.
Okay.
First, guys, we are not doing any financial advice over here. We've never done, we will never do. We're not advising anyone to buy anything, sell anything. We don't know what will happen to anything in the world, to the price of anything. We're part of a business. We're a team working hard, developing technology to impact an asset class that we all know and touch. And this is what we do. Now, let me start with the translation. Now, when we talk about an operator, a marketplace operator, a partner in Panama, launching two properties, public offerings already. One of them is 84% subscribed and nearing the rest, nearing the 100% subscription. And it has been only a few days to have it launched. That answers a question which is very important. Is there a market for tokenized real estate? Yeah. Is there people who want tokenized real estate? And again, I know that today I don't need to answer those questions. I needed to answer them a year ago because everyone believed that RWA is an act of lunacy, and today there's hype around us. So at that time when we were talking about this and answering those questions, you need real conviction to believe what we're saying and understand what we're talking about. Today, regardless of who says what, everyone is believed. As long as he puts hashtag RWA, he's believed today. But let's not put the hashtags RWA here. Let's show you RWA happening as we speak. So an operator puts that onto the market. Very nice people, understand the business. They are in the education as well as the community building and real estate. And they succeed in two public offerings, not one. And this tells you that they're going for more afterwards. That tells you something. Yeah. Let me translate something else now. We have another operator in Costa Rica. They are into real estate as investors and they are launching a marketplace in a new jurisdiction, and they are very well nurtured business people. They're not falling onto tokenization of real estate by mistake. They didn't have any business to do and they fell onto this. No, they're very successful and they saw this as an opportunity. And they're very close to launching a property or tokenizing one or few properties. Probably it will be a series of properties tokenized after each other. Now, then, let me take you to Tokenized. Tokenized won, how many years ago? 3 years ago, the Fibri Tokenization Challenge.
Yes.
3 years ago. Now, what did Tokenized did since then? By winning the challenge, by the way, what Blocksquare have done is whoever wins the challenge gets technology, access to technology, at no cost. They run on gas, as Denis describes it. Yeah, you run on gas. Tokenized had so many challenges in the market they're in, and the challenges may be multiples here of challenges. Today, Tokenized is coming back with preparing to launch an asset on a public offering. What does this tell you? Okay, stay with me here for a second. Brick trade, around a year ago, we started. They had so many changes around them in the environment. They had so many changes probably in their business and the surrounding. And today, they're very close to launching an asset. This tells you something. Let me tell you what it tells you. Yesterday, Matthew said, and I'll tell you who's Matthew in a second. But Matthew said, we've been, they've met at that time members of the team, probably Denis and someone. It probably was 2019 or something like that. And at that time, they met several other projects that are tokenization projects, and they don't know of any other project that's still surviving. Now, that's not cool. We want everyone to, or many people to hopefully survive. However, what's very cool is that we're not surviving, we're thriving. Yeah? And we're not thriving because of a hype today. No, we're thriving all through last year. We're thriving all through somebody today who's unstaking his, he doesn't want to unstake, by the way. So I didn't update that. He doesn't want to unstake. Let me tell you why. Somebody who tokenized around 520 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
520 days ago. And I know those numbers because we were chatting about it today. 520 days ago, which is more than a year ago, and forgot about it, was on skiing excursions and living his life and doing his business. And today, looking back and saying, oh gosh, guys, you have around 100 million of tokenized property today. Yes, we do. Oh, wow, I used to be earning this much, big quantities. Now I'm earning smaller. Yes, because you were one of one approximately. At the time you've tokenized your property, you were in a pot of 10 million, $8-9 million. Today you're in a pot of 100 million. And it's growing as we speak. The pipeline today that Daniel is looking at is first from many other different countries in the world. We're no longer heavy on Slovenia and Dubai as we used to. Probably Slovenia and Dubai soon will not be actually, if we don't pull something, Denis and myself.
In
and
Australia, I need to add
Australia.
Australia here, but because it shows that this regional approach is actually working, because obviously, we have some presence here and we get people from our community who are kind of from our property owners. And then you have, for instance, Julia in Australia, and she brought a lot of asset owners to the community as well, real estate owners, and yourself in Dubai. And I think this is all kind of shows that when you have local presence, things are possible. And with the regional hubs, now I think Cody has mentioned to me, there's, I think we have in 4 continents now ambassadors registered who signed with us as ambassadors, and are now, his role is now to connect them together with other ambassadors in the region to form regional hubs. And we will soon have the first regional hubs competition, quarterly competition, going live. And I believe that we have kind of intuitively achieved success as this non-registered regional hubs, basically through the activities that Julia did, you did, and myself, and others in the community.
We had members of the community, Dennis, who were not members of the core team, who
Exactly.
started sending us their friends in Turkey, their friends in Belgium, and this is how we got the first properties on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And today we're getting it in a different way. Today we have parties. And by the way, I'll tell you from experience of talking to people who wanted to operate regional hubs. Yeah, we get tens of applications every day. Currently, Yuri is, God bless him, going through all applications, doing all the introductory meetings. However, there is a time where Denis and myself were flipping between introduction meetings
for marketplaces, right?
Yeah,
to operate
for marketplace operators. Yeah. And the approach today from parties who want to operate marketplaces are different. We used to have much those non-funded, they want to see how can it be done, and they want to fall onto a business. And today you have the very well-funded, they're coming in, they know exactly what they want, they have the community, they have the supply, they have the demand, and on they go. So we salute every single party who've lived for as long as Tokenized have lived with us and struggled to get there and got there. And hopefully soon we'll see a public offering from them. And we salute all of the other parties. By the way, there's very interesting assets, guys. And when you talk about an elderly housing in the UK, that's a private equity standard property. No one with $1,000 usually gets access to something like that. Okay, there is so much work being put together. There's so much behind. Look, it's 30 minutes already. We did not talk about everything we wanted to talk about here, and I'll stop talking here, and we'll talk about the last thing we want to talk about. But before I stop talking, I want to tell you, we didn't talk about what we wanted to talk about, and imagine what we didn't plan to talk about, but it's happening in the background. There's Fergus working on the institutional side. There is Simon, and we'll tell you about him in a second, working on listings and getting the right exchanges on board. And like, I'm teasing people from the beginning of the session, yeah, and everyone will be cursing me now. So
There was a spoil. You should have said spoiler alert. No, it's
so, guys, all of this is running, and there's much yet running in the background. So we have been, by the way, selected by several publications over the past few days. Yes, there is a hype around RWA today, but we're not part of the hype. We're the fundamentalists. We're the blocking stone. That's why when they talk today, when a publication that respects itself talks about the top quality real estate tokenization projects for 2024 and beyond, they mention Blocksquare. So hats off to all of them. Thank you so much for recognizing all the hard work. Denis, what's the last thing we want to tell our community today?
What we want to tell the community is that basically one of the things that we can finally focus on, and I would say, since the very start, we never put a lot of thought, we put a lot of thought, but not a lot of money or effort behind BST as such. We put, obviously, with the launch of Oceanpoint, that was the first sign of our direction, that we really want to drive a lot of value to it. Basically, all of the value that is being built throughout Blocksquare is being driven towards BST. To support this statement is how we build our team, how we grow our team,
how we structured our token, and what does it hold. Yeah, I believe there was a discussion last week or the week before. Sorry, I messed up with time here when we were talking about what is the value behind BST, what does it hold.
Exactly.
And the discussion about how it was documented, and at that time I believe it was Victor and Denis, isn't it? At that time, prior to anyone else being on the table. And Victor and Denis came and said, you know what, guys, we're tokenizing the business. We're not tokenizing air.
Yes.
This is what we're tokenizing.
Yes.
And this tells you much, guys. I believe last week or the week before, I don't remember how did we come up with this discussion. But
I think I was just driving back home and we were on a call and we were discussing about this, that basically we've tokenized the IP, and when you build out a technology company, the IP is the value behind it, obviously, as well, the network and the business, etc. But
that's the business. The IP is the business.
But IP is related directly to the business, right? And here, basically, we've tokenized the software licensing that kind of offers access to our tokenization system to our partners. And that tells you a lot, because we don't sell BST to the market. We distribute BST through Oceanpoint until supply kind of ends. And we believe that will be, by 2028, a self-sustaining ecosystem. Why? Because there's also the real estate component that comes into play, and it becomes quite significant when you scale it up. We're now at 100 million. We need to get to around 500 million to launch the Point token, by our assessments in terms of risk, in terms of how economics will work in the system. And that's our goal. We want to reach that goal. It's easier to reach when you have partners. So it's important to have marketplace operators that bring real estate assets into the ecosystem. And now we have, I believe, 9 marketplace operators, 11 certified partners, and we're kind of growing in that direction. If we reach 30 marketplace operators, each marketplace operator brings on 5 to 10 million in a year time. That's already quite close, right? and 5 to 10 million is not a big asset in the end, right? So let's go back maybe to the discussion we wanted to have at the end, right? Which is putting effort behind BST, right? We've listed on MEXC in May, I believe, last year. We've now listed on Bitmart yesterday, and we want to list on the next exchange. It's not going to be the next 3 exchanges. It's not going to be the next 2, but it's going to be the next 1 exchange. And to get there, to get to the right exchange, to choose the right partner, you need to have the right person or the right people. And I believe that the people in our team are the right people, but at the same time, having somebody on the team who's really experienced in dealing with exchanges, who knows the right people at the right exchanges, it's even more important.
So they
right?
decided, let me tell you here, they decided that the most technologically knowledgeable and capable is Makram. We are passing on that discussion to him. Definitely not. So who is the right person? And what is his experience? And what is he planning? What is he here to do?
So I'm actually quite, it's quite interesting, right? When you start growing, you get new partnerships in. And one of the partnerships that we locked in at the beginning of, or towards the end of last year, or beginning of last quarter of last year, was an amazing PR agency, Market Across. And we started collaborating with them, basically, I believe, since, just before me going to Berlin to that event, etc., MBX. And they connected us with this gentleman, who Simon and I had a couple of calls with, and we really felt that we have the same kind of mentality, understanding of how we want to work with people. So the ethos, I would say, was on a common ground, and here is basically Ari is his name, Ari Last. And Ari Last is an amazing person who has tons of experience working currently as the Chief Commercial Officer at Banksa. And he's joining us as exchange listings or exchange relations advisor. And he's bringing a lot of contacts that he kind of earned I would say, throughout his previous experiences. So now he's working at Banxa, but before he was one of the earliest members of the team at Simplex, which was which is one of the largest on-off ramping providers in Web3 in crypto, and he spent 5 years with them and had experience on listing with and integrating with various wallets, with various exchanges, with and relisting, which was another experience that he explained to me. So tough stuff on a global level, and I couldn't be happier to have anybody else entrusted to present us with opportunities, potentially with certain exchanges. So with that being said, this collaboration just started, just as we were listing on Bitmart, and it's basically here with goals for 2024. We don't know. There's nothing set currently in stone. We're just listed on Bitmart. We have the budget for the one exchange that we'll be listing on. We have that in our goals, in our roadmap, um, and so I believe in the next 12 months we should see,
So watch this
hopefully
space.
even sooner. Hopefully even sooner, but let's see. I don't want to overpromise. It's better to come as to say in the next 12 months, and then in 3 months maybe something happens. I don't know. So,
How
but I'm
how
quite
is how is
confident
that?
that we couldn't have a better person on our team than Ari last. Yeah.
So welcome, Ari. How is the listing with MEXC going?
Uh, MEXC.
Since we listed, have we seen
Oh,
that the volumes have grown? Have we seen that? What have we
yes.
seen? Because that will resemble MEXC is a top 15 exchange, yeah.
Yeah.
And today, if we list on a top 5 exchange, probably that should have the resemblance of MEXC and it should have more significance there. So tell me more.
Um, I think I think it's hard to compare, really, right? There's some exchanges who are really good at launching new tokens, and they bring a lot of traction to it, right? And then there's other exchanges who are good at supporting volumes throughout the lifetime of a token, right? Um, and it really depends where we see us being listed on next. I think you have different exchanges. We have a target list. It's not unlimited, right? But at the same time, there's quite a couple of choices there. There's the prohibitive choices that I will not even mention because they probably are not within reach, but at this today, but
And
maybe.
maybe they don't add. Maybe today it's not the right moment. Everything is good at the right moment. Yeah.
Yes, I mean you want to build it up, right? You want the build up phase. I like the saying as the journey is much more exciting than the goal, than the finish
Destination.
line,
Yeah.
the destination. Yeah, and I think here the journey is gonna last for more, hopefully for more than a simple bull and bear market, I would say, because I believe that tokenized real estate becomes really interesting when we have bear markets. When there's bull markets, there's tokens, there's NFTs, there's a lot of sexy stuff, right? Or that's around that is interesting to people and attracts people, and the 10x and the 100x, that's what people are after. But when things settle down, normality comes back and people start to think like sane sane people again. And obviously that's when real estate tokenization is going to be at its best. But currently, being part of Blocksquare's community, I believe, is the right moment in time, because becoming a part of our community is becoming part of a community that's been around for 6 years, building, understanding, learning, iterating, and yeah, that's
Coming is the age of cash flow, where you, an individual, part of a community, would want to diversify your channels of cash flow. Blocksquare allows you to do so. Our partners everywhere will allow you to do so. Today, not only can you embark on that journey as an investor, but you can as an ambassador. You can as a regional hub operator, or part of a regional hub. You can as a marketplace operator. You can as a professional. You can just join our community and watch. Yeah, I'm sure you've been part of communities in the past. Just watch and see if there's something there that rings a bell, that makes any sense to you. We're not about hype. You don't need to become an impactful member today. Just watch, and the day will come. And in our opinion, the day is today. I've been asked recently by a new member of the team, am I late to the game? I said, you know what? You're one of the smartest. By coincidence or by mistake, you're the only one on time. We were all early or too early or too early. And 6 to 8 years ago is too early. You're just coming in when they told us the table is ready. So today is the day. Denis, do you want to say anything else to our community?
Apply as ambassadors. It's going to be fun. So you can make it fun. That's what ambassadors are for. And activate yourself. I mean, I think that's what it is about DAOs. I really want to prove that building a DAO, a decentralized community of people, is possible. And I truly believe that regional hubs, regional ambassadors is the way to go, because it allows us to grow anywhere. We could have an ambassador on Antarctica or on Greenland or wherever, in the most remote places around the world.
I'm ready to go.
But where
I'm
there is
ready to go.
land,
Will you fund it?
yes.
That's a short and sweet answer. Denis, let's say welcome to Ari. Thank you for every single member of the team who's working very hard. Thank you for every community member. Thank you for everyone listening today. Comment, guys. You can comment by saying, "Oh, guys, change Makram," and we'll not change him, but it's okay. We listen to your opinion with the Grinch. Guys, we would love your interaction. Become part of what's happening and what has been happening for a time. And today you can jump in just on time. Thank you all for being part of our energy. Until another block chat. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.